The top stories tonight in Y News. The Office of Transportation Cooperatives shares that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has expressed confidence in the Public Utility Vehicle or PUV modernization program.
The Senate President reveals that the upper chamber of Congress will take the lead on the proposed amendments to certain economic provisions of the Philippine Constitution.
Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong says gastroenteritis outbreak in the summer capital is not yet over.
And political experts predict that China will persist in its military and economic threats on Taiwan under its new leadership.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Monday, January 15, 2024. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I am Marvi Delfin.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue's social media channels. I am Bianca Quijano.
First in the news. An official from the Department of Transportation is emphasizing that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. was indeed not provided with incorrect or insufficient information regarding the Public Utility Vehicle or PUV modernization program. According to the Office of Transportation Cooperatives, the President has expressed confidence in the program. Nel Maribuhok will tell us why.
A transportation official came to the defense of the government's transportation sector initiatives and insisted that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. was not misinformed on the real situation of the Public Utility Vehicle or PUV modernization program. At the Palace press briefing, transportation officials were asked to comment on the claim that President Marcos is misinformed about the PUV modernization program. Office of Transportation Cooperatives or OTC Chairperson Jesus Ferdinand Ortega then recalled their meeting with the President last December 12, 2023 regarding the modernization program. He said the President was firm with his decision not to extend the December 31 deadline on the application for the consolidation of jeepney operators into cooperatives.
Nung umupo kami sa harap ng Pangulo, kitang-kita po namin sa kanyang demeanor, sa kanyang mata, the confidence tungkol sa programa. He knows the numbers, he knows about the program, and he was very confident in saying, hindi na tayo mag-extend.
It can be recalled that PBBM met with transport officials on December 12 last year amid the nearing deadline of consolidation of PUVs during that time. Ortega further said that the numbers they presented during the December meeting with the chief executive were transparent. He added that during that meeting, the President ordered them to help the drivers and cooperatives and further improve the program as he insisted on not causing any more delay to the program.
He was still saying sa dulo, tulungan pa natin ang ating mga drivers, mga kooperatiba to improve further yung programa. At sinabi rin po niya, kailangan na natin to ibigay sa ating mga mananakay, sa mga commuters.
Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Senate will take the lead on the proposed amendments to certain economic provisions of the Philippine Constitution. Dante Amento tells us why.
Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri revealed on Monday, January 15, that they had a dialogue with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. last January 11, 2024. House Speaker Martin Romualdez was also present in their meeting. He brought up to the chief executive their position against the proposed People's Initiative to amend the 1987 Constitution. It will allegedly diminish the power of the Senate and would lead to a constitutional crisis. The president allegedly believes the proposed People's Initiative is divisive. He ordered the Senate to lead the proposed amendments to certain economic provisions of the Constitution that the House of Representatives can adopt.
And sabi niya sa akin at kay Speaker, sabi niya, why doesn't the Senate take the lead in the discussions of the economic provisions and then you approve your version which the House can adopt? So that was the position of the President. Para hindi na tayo maglalagay pa kung ano-ano pang mga amendments na sa tingin natin ay magagalit ang taong bayan.
Zubiri also personally filed a resolution of both houses of Congress today for the said proposed amendment.
Tatlo lang yung topic dito and napakasimple, napakalinaw. So, ito po ay gagawin natin para sa ganun we preserve the bicameralism of both the House of Representatives and the Senate.
Okay. Appealing to the Speaker to do the same.
And
Or hoping.
we're hoping that the Speaker does the same.
Okay.
So that a constitutional crisis can be averted.
A Senate subcommittee will be created which will be headed by Senator Sani Angara with the permission of Senator Robin Hood Padilla, chairperson of the Committee on Constitutional Amendments, to review the economic provisions of the Constitution. Meanwhile, in a statement, House Speaker Martin Romualdez said he supports the Senate's initiative in filing a resolution for both houses of Congress. It is allegedly a decisive step towards amending the Constitution, particularly in terms of relaxing its economic provisions. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
In response to the impending El Niño phenomenon that is expected to impact our country this year, the Department of Agriculture has allocated a substantial 250 million pesos for the solar irrigation project. This financial commitment is a proactive measure to address the anticipated challenges faced by our farmers who are particularly vulnerable to the effects of El Niño. It's worth noting that this funding is an additional allocation for projects that were already initiated last year due to the previous impacts of El Niño.
Sa ngayon ay merong 250 million na initial na budget na i-allocate para sa solar irrigation project. So priority nito yung mga areas talaga na maapektuhan. Maliit pa lang ito, simula pa lang, and definitely the Secretary will find ways para madagdagan itong initial 250 million.
Importantly, the Department of Agriculture had initially sought a budget of 112 million pesos for the execution of cloud seeding operations. However, with a forward-looking approach, the focus has shifted towards the solar irrigation project. Set to commence this year, this initiative will prioritize regions of the country known for their high agricultural productivity.
Ini-expect naman natin pag El Niño, may mga lugar talaga na hindi matataniman. Isa yun sa mga nakaline na programa natin. Pag sobrang drought, ito yung mga klaseng intervention. So nakaprogram na yung lahat. Ang gusto lang sabihin ni Secretary, immediate interventions.
Philippine National Police Chief Gen Benjamin Acorda Jr. has confirmed the dismissal of Police Lieutenant Colonel Mark Julio Abong from the service. Abong gained notoriety after firing his gun in a Quezon City resto bar last November 2023. General Acorda stated that he personally signed Abong's dismissal order on December 18th. This move comes as a response to the officer's involvement in a series of alarming incidents, including the resto bar shooting late last year.
Well, as of this date, nai-serve na sa kanya yung dismissal order. I already signed the order, the dismissal order, and it should be implemented. And based on our record, wala na siya.
It's worth noting that this isn't Abong's first brush with controversy. In 2002, he was implicated in a hit-and-run incident where a tricycle driver lost his life. Despite being an active member of the PNP legal service, Abong's dismissal means he will no longer receive his benefits.
And for the news abroad, North Korea has declared that it successfully tested a new solid fuel missile equipped with a hypersonic warhead, further escalating tensions just days after Kim Jong-un referred to South Korea as an enemy state. According to the state news agency KCNA, the test conducted on Sunday, January 14, was part of Pyongyang's efforts to develop more powerful and harder to detect weaponry. Despite the test, North Korea stated that it poses no threat to neighboring countries. This development occurred on the same day a delegation led by Foreign Minister Choi Son-hui left Pyongyang for Russia. The missile launch and the visit to Russia come amid heightened tensions between the two Koreas, following a series of intercontinental ballistic missile launches and the launch of North Korea's first military spy satellite. Washington and its allies are also concerned about the growing relationship between Pyongyang and Moscow. Meanwhile, North Korea has accused Seoul of escalating tensions in the region due to ongoing military drills.
A volcanic eruption in southwestern Iceland has led to the temporary closure of the nearby Blue Lagoon geothermal spa, one of Iceland's major tourist attractions. This is the second eruption in less than a month, and it has caused concern as lava is advancing toward the community of Grindavik. The volcano previously erupted on December 18th, and residents were allowed to return to their homes on December 22nd. Since then, emergency workers have been constructing defensive barriers around Grindavik. However, these barriers were incomplete, and the lava is now moving towards the community, according to the Meteorological Office. Before the eruption last month, the Svartsengi volcanic system located north of Grindavik had been inactive for approximately 780 years. Unlike the previous event, the eruption at Svartsengi on Saturday produced a very rapid flow of lava moving south toward Grindavik, said Kristin Johnstudier of the Met Office. Iceland, situated above a volcanic hotspot in the North Atlantic, typically experiences an eruption every 4 to 5 years. The most disruptive eruption in recent times was the 2010 eruption of the Eyjafjallajökull volcano, which emitted ash clouds into the atmosphere, disrupting transatlantic air travel for months. Despite an outbreak of diarrhea and acute gastroenteritis in Baguio City at the start of January, visitors have continued to flock to parks and other tourist spots in the summer capital. Grace Flores tells us why.
In response to the stomach flu outbreak in Baguio City at the beginning of the year, Mayor Benjamin Magalong announced on Sunday, January 14, that stronger regulations and more testing would be enforced on commercial wells and water refilling stations serving the summer capital. Acute gastroenteritis and other diarrheal ailments potentially infecting up to 3,087 people, according to the latest tally of self-reported cases, have been associated with contaminated water or poor food hygiene. As of Sunday, only 3 gastro cases have been officially recorded by the City Health Services Office, according to Dr. Celia Flor Brillantes, the City Health Officer. Mayor Magalong noted a sharp downtrend in infections since January 9, indicating that the spread of the disease has been contained. However, he emphasized that epidemiologists need to identify the cause and circumstances of the gastroenteritis surge before declaring the outbreak officially over.
Unless we'll be able to identify the causes and the circumstances, saka pa lang natin masasabi confidently na tapos na.
So wala.
Pero looking at the current trend, yung epidemiological curve, we're getting there.
To address the situation, the government is reviewing sanitation laws and considering the incorporation of stricter and upgraded testing protocols for private deep wells owners and water purification facilities. In Baguio, there are 1,003 deep wells, but only 173 of these facilities have been licensed to draw water. Councilor Betty Lourdes Tabanda, chair of the Committee on Health and Environment, pointed out that while an association of water refilling stations has been strict about complying with periodic water quality tests, not all facilities are members, and some may have not followed mandatory test requirements. The latest test results confirmed the presence of fecal matter in 18 of 62 samples, 12 of which were from water delivery services, 4 from places that serve food, and 1 from a household water dispenser. More results were expected from the Research Institutes for Tropical Medicine by January 17.
Just to give us a background of these viruses, so ito yung tinatawag natin na stomach flu or intestinal flu that we call it, but they are not actually flu. But we always experience them, especially during the cold season. And the transmission could be possibly from contaminated food and water.
Grace Flores, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Amidst the ongoing issues surrounding the discontinuation of the senior high school program in state universities and colleges, or SUCs, and local universities and colleges, or LUCs, the Department of Education has provided assurance. They've confirmed that vouchers will be extended to allow currently enrolled students to complete their studies. Jed Neresina details why.
The NCR Regional Director of the Department of Education, Joyce Andaya, has reassured the public that there is sufficient absorptive capacity for incoming senior high school students.
There are 16 divisions in the National Capital Region, and at the moment we have around 3,000 students that will be displaced if ever we push through with this, but that these are properly allocated already. For instance, Rizal Technological University in Mandaluyong, it has around 512 senior high learners, and we looked at our absorptive capacity in Mandaluyong, and we found out that we have more than enough space for our learners.
Further affirming this commitment, DepEd Undersecretary Michael Poa emphasized that grade 11 students currently enrolled for the school year 2023-2024 will still receive the senior high school program voucher. This assurance comes in the wake of the discontinuation of the SHS program in state universities and colleges, or SUCs, and local universities and colleges, or LUCs. Undersecretary Poa highlighted that both DepEd Secretary and Vice President Sara Duterte have given instructions to extend the voucher program for students.
The Vice President has already given out instructions that DepEd, because of the situation of having 17,751 learners in grade 11, DepEd will again be extending na lang yung ating voucher program to the grade 11 learners in SUCs and LUCs for this current school year. And DepEd will again extend the voucher program when they enter grade 12 next year, provided that a memorandum of agreement is executed between DepEd and CHED to provide a clear timeline.
However, it was clarified that there will be no senior high school program vouchers for incoming grade 11 students planning to enroll in SUCs and LUCs for the next school year. Adding perspective to the situation, Commission on Higher Education Chairman Prospero de Vera III mentioned that the SHS program in SUCs and LUCs is optional based on their agreement with DepEd.
We have to remember that the decision to offer senior high under the DepEd-CHED agreement was an optional provision based on the availability of rooms and teachers in public higher education. Some state universities and colleges actually opted not to provide senior high because they did not have the capacity to do it.
Jed Neresina, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
In other global news, experts believe that China will continue its military and economic threat on Taiwan under its new leadership. Taiwan elected current Vice President William Lai as its new president on Saturday, January 13. Amiel Pascual will tell us why.
On Saturday, January 13, Taiwan witnessed a historic moment as Vice President William Lai was elected as the new president of the self-ruled island. While this marks a significant win for the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, political analysts predict that Beijing is likely to persist with military threats and trade sanctions on Taiwan as President-elect Lai prepares to take office. Despite the victory, China's intimidation tactics are expected to continue, adding a layer of complexity to the delicate cross-strait relations.
They might launch all kinds of sanctions. We already know that the petrochemical will be the tariff from Taiwan of the petrochemical product will be heightened, will be raised. And also, several days ago, the Department of Commerce already announced, so-called the new target for the certain products like textiles, auto spare parts, so on and so forth. So the likelihood is very, very high. If we launch this kind of economic sanction against Taiwan, and also the. It can be imaged that the more frequent so-called incursion into our ADIZ by the fighter jets or so-called warships, so that they can only there's one stone here, two birds. Only one hand to send a strong warning to new DPP administration.
In his victory speech, President-elect Lai emphasized a commitment to maintaining peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait, expressing openness dialogue with Beijing. Political analysts suggest that China is unlikely to engage in any dialogue with the new leadership in Taiwan. The formal communication between China and Taiwan has been suspended since 2016, following President Tsai Ing-wen's refusal to acknowledge the One China policy. China claims Taiwan as part of its territory and asserts its willingness to use force if necessary for reunification. Despite China's President Xi Jinping's goal of reunification with Taiwan, experts believe the tensions are not likely to escalate into an all-out invasion.
As president, I have an important responsibility to maintain peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait. I will act in accordance with our democratic and free constitutional order in a manner that is balanced and maintains the cross-strait status quo.
In response, Taiwan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs issued a statement urging Beijing to respect the election results, face reality, and give up oppression against Taiwan. The inauguration of President-elect Lai is set for May 20th, alongside his chosen Vice President, Xiao Bi-kim. Amiel Pascual, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The conflict between Israel and the Hamas militant group has now reached 100 days. The White House has stated that this is the right time for Israel to ease its military offensive in the Gaza Strip. According to White House National Security Council spokesman John Kirby, the United States is engaged in discussions with Israel regarding the transition to low-intensity operations. Meanwhile, on Sunday, January 14, marked the 100th day of the conflict. On the same day, Israeli warplanes targeted sites in Lebanon following a missile attack by Hezbollah on northern Israel, resulting in the deaths of 2 Israeli civilians. There are concerns that the exchange of fire may lead to a broader war in the region. The Gaza war, launched by Israel in response to the October 7 attack by Hamas, has resulted in the death of almost 24,000 Palestinians.
Large crowds gathered in Denmark's capital to witness the historic succession of their new monarch. Maven Carizo details why.
King Frederick X has ascended the throne on Sunday in Denmark, succeeding his mother Queen Margaret II, who served as the country's monarch for 52 years. The 55-year-old new monarch was proclaimed king by Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen on the balcony of Christiansborg Castle and addressed the crowd with a moving and tearful speech. He was joined by his Australian-born wife and now Queen Mary, along with their children, Crown Prince Christian, Princess Isabel, and twins Princess Josephine and Prince Vincent. Margaret shocked citizens on New Year's Eve after announcing her intention to step down, citing a major back surgery she had early last year. She is the first Danish monarch to voluntarily abdicate the throne in nearly 900 years. Despite the freezing temperatures on Sunday, tens of thousands of people gathered at the Parliament building to show support to the new monarch. Maven Carizo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe.
The four largest transport groups have filed a petition to intervene in the temporary restraining order filed by Piston to suspend the Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program, or PUVMP. JP Nunez will tell us why.
Earlier today, January 15, four prominent transport groups led by Pasang Mazda filed a petition for intervention in the temporary restraining order against the Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program, or PUVMP. The co-petitioners include the Alliance of Concerned Transport Operators, or ACTO, Liga ng Transportasyon at Operators sa Pilipinas, or LTAP, and the Alliance of Transport Operators and Drivers Association of the Philippines, or ATODAP. These transport groups expressed their support for the government-implemented PUVMP.
Basically, ang nilalaman po nito ay inu-oppose namin yung kanilang ipinail na TRO. At dito po sa aming intervention, may mga paliwanag po ang aming mga abogado tungkol sa consolidation, tungkol sa PUJ Modernization Program.
Obet Martin of Pasang Mazda explained that their petition opposes the claims made by Piston and Manibela that there would be a transport crisis if the PUVMP pushes through. He also emphasized that there are more affordable modern vehicle units available for procurement by cooperatives in addition to the existing modern jeepneys. Furthermore, Martin highlighted that the Philippines lags behind neighboring countries in modernizing its public transport system. Thus, Pasang Mazda and other transport groups firmly support the implementation of the PUVMP.
Ang pagpili po, kung sinasabi nilang mahal, ang pagpili po, ang choices, nasa cooperative, nasa korporasyon. Marami na ho ngayong murang mga modern jeepneys compliant sa PNS. Kagaya ng isang supplier na halos 1 million na lang po ang halaga, po pwede ho natin gamitin yan. Meron din po kaming kausap na isang supplier na halos 1.5 lang ang halaga, po pwede ho natin gamitin yan.
It's worth noting that Piston filed their petition for a temporary restraining order against the PUVMP last December 2023 before the consolidation deadline. As of today, the Supreme Court is yet to release a decision on whether they will issue a TRO against the PUVMP or dismiss Piston's petition. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Arkasang Bahay. As the world faces these trying times amid the various challenges and uncertainties, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity from Monday to Friday, 9:30 p.m. Philippine time, through the social media accounts of the Members Church of God International.
And before we close, we will leave you with the word giving glory to God from the book of Proverbs chapter 28, verse 13. It says, "He that covereth his sins shall not prosper, but whoso confesseth and forsaketh them shall have mercy." And those are the reasons behind the news on January 15th, 2024. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Bianca Tijano, live from Edmonton, Canada.
Because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am Marvi Delfin, live from Australia. We serve the people, we give glory to God.